Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're doing well, physically, mentally, spiritually. Um, this subject is very delicate, so to speak, to a lot of people. It's something that most of us, if not all of us, have to go through at least once in our lives. It's not something easy to go through. Many people go through it in many different ways. There is no right or wrong way to go about it. I believe we all have our individualities, our personalities, something that makes us unique. When it comes to grief and loss, there's no way, there's no, how shall I say this? There's no Bible, there's no book that can tell you, hey, this is what you need to do, okay, to go through your grief and loss. Maybe there are books out there that talk about it and they actually say, hey, this is what you need to do, or don't do this. But at the end of the day, each one of us is an individual, right? Even in cultures where the grief, the loss, the mourning, not morning and afternoon, but mourning someone, is done through on a collective level. Even then, there's individuality. Okay, they might do their thing collectively as a group, but then individually, each one of them, at least mentally and spiritually, they're going to go through it in a different way. To a lot of people, it's very, very hard to process and live through the grief and loss and mourning. Some people go to extremes, right? Some people, look for alcohol or other hard drugs, to help them go through that. And sure, many people can see like, well, clearly that's a negative thing. That's the wrong thing to do. I can understand why it can be seen as that, but I would prefer not to call it wrong. Like I said, everyone has got their own personalities, their own way with dealing with things, and even if we think that what they're doing is wrong, to them it might not be, or it might be. They might think it is, they might know it is, but they feel the need to still do that. Some other people do it differently. Rather than go to that extreme, they go to the other extreme, and they want to be seen as being available to everyone else that is going through the grief, the loss, and the mourning. That might be a great thing for them to do, but maybe it isn't, right? Because like they want to really help everyone else out, but maybe the other people, they need some time for themselves, right? I think it's during this less positive times, events, that we tend to be more reclusive, more closed, and we want to stay away a little bit from other people because we're still trying to process all of what happened. It's like, hey, I'm not going to see that person anymore. It's not that person went to another country. That person is no longer here physically, full stop. I need to be able to process this, especially if it's someone very close, right? It's not easy. So you wanting to really help and be there all the time for people, it might not be the best thing to do. So there's these two extremes. It might not necessarily be these two extremes. I'm just giving examples, right? That neither can be seen as the right one or the wrong one, okay? Everyone goes through it differently. I know myself. I tend to be more quiet. I tend to be more reserved. I tend to spend more time alone. I don't go to that. I don't turn to alcohol. I don't turn to drugs. Never felt the need to do that. But I can understand when other people do it. And yeah, keep an eye on those people, obviously, because you don't want these people to, in a way, self-destruct. But at the same time, give them the space, be there for them, but, not too close and not too far away, just at a perfect distance so that they don't feel smothered and they don't feel left alone, abandoned, really, okay? So, and you might ask, like, well, what is that distance? Well, you will know, or the other person will let you know. Maybe not in words, but we humans, we pick up on these things. We know when someone is down. We know when someone wants to be left alone. We know when someone actually needs our help, but it might be shy to ask for help. So we usually are very good at picking up these signals, okay? So you will know what the right distance is. But yeah, we have to go through it. We can't escape it, right? It's the cycle. It's what we get here on this earth. We have to go through it. Some people go through it many times, tragedies, so-called tragedies in the family or people close to them. Some other people don't, or they might distance themselves from it for whatever reasons. But like I said, it's always something that we experience at least once in our life, okay? It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be experienced, felt, dealt with, and maybe learning something from it as well. One of the questions that we might ask ourselves when that happens, when we go through it, is like, why? Why did that happen? Why that person? Why now? But we don't fully know exactly why. I'm a firm believer that when we were born here on this earth, and on the day and in the year that we were born, and in the month that we were born, we chose to be born. We chose in a life between lives, so to speak. We chose to be born in the family that we were born into, in the country that we were born into, and we chose to live the life that we've lived until today. And that might include, maybe, I don't know. It's not, I'm not saying this as a definite thing. But maybe we also decided when to check out, so to speak, when to leave this place physically. Maybe some people don't agree with me, and that's okay. They might ask, well, what about people who pass away very, very young, as toddlers, children, teenagers, babies even, or even just fetuses, right? They're not actually born yet. They're still in the womb, and then there's no life there. The life ends for them right there. So like, what was that about? We don't know. I don't know. To some people, it must be like, oh, that's very cruel, especially how these young people pass away. The manner that they pass away. Why would they choose this? It's about growth. It's about learning. You might not understand what does a young person, like a child, a teenager, a toddler, a baby, a newborn, or a fetus, what does he have to learn at that age? They haven't lived fully yet. So what do they need to know until then? I don't know. Maybe there's someone out there who's got the answer, or has got some answers. I can't give you the answer. I don't really know. I'm just saying it might be a possibility that we chose and choose the lives that we want to take, and that includes how and when we pass away. It might be horrible to think these things, but it might be a natural process that we actually go through when we are in this life between lives. Like I speak, it's like a waiting room. It's like when we pass away, we go through whatever journey, and then we might end up in like a waiting room, so we can figure it out, or we can plan where we're going to be born next, in what conditions, and then that happens. That's what I think happens. Whether that's exactly what happens or not, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, the grief and loss, it's all around us. We carry it with us. you might have someone who passed away a long time ago, but you still remember that person fondly, with a lot of love. You met someone recently, within the last, I don't know, let's say few years, and that person is no longer here, and there's still that love, that affection for that person. So sometimes it doesn't really matter in terms of if you knew that person for years and years and years, or if you just knew them for a couple of years. It's just the connection that you have with people that matters, right? So, and the grief and the loss, it might be similar or not, but that varies with each person, because we're all different. Right, I didn't want to bring the video down, the vibe or the video down. It can be like a somewhat sad subject to talk about, but I feel like, look, we are in the spiritual community, right? And we need to talk about all sorts of things, even the things, especially the things that might make us uncomfortable, because I think that does help us grow. Okay, I think it's part of our collective process of therapy, right? So, excuse me. I think it's very important to talk about these things every now and then. At least we have to acknowledge them and know that they exist, that they're there, that we have to talk about these things. And by talking, we improve a little bit of ourselves, we grow, we get better. Okay, so when our time to pass on to the other side, and if we have to continue our journey by, being born again on this earth or another earth, then hopefully we have learned a little bit more on our spiritual journey, and hopefully that adds up to the knowledge and the growth that we've had for however long we've started doing this. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. Thank you for you taking your time, your precious time, to be here with me, and I hopefully will see you in the next episode. Right? You take care. You be well. See you next time. Bye.